Hello everyone. Today we will be solving the problem named as repeated payments. So let me first introduce you with the problem statement. Sometimes payments and transactions are repeated by accident. It could be due to user error, API failure, or retry error that cause a credit card to be charged twice. Using the transactions table, this is the transaction table we have, and it contains these many rows. Like we have like 6 rows here. Identify any payments made at the same merchant with the same credit card for the same amount within 10 minutes. So the problem says that if the merchant ID, credit card ID and amount it's occurring in within like 10 minutes time frame, then we will have to count as a repeated payments. So let's suppose we will take an example of this first and second row. Here you can see the merchant ID is same, credit card ID is same, amount is also same, and the difference of the time is 8 minutes. So this fall into this repeated payment category. So here the count will be 1. We will have to omit the first transaction. We will consider only the second one. So let's suppose we will compare this and this is also same, credit card ID is same, amount is same, but the difference of the payment is 20 minutes. So here this will not considered as repeated payments. So like in order to solve this problem, what we required is to like identify whether this row or this payment is the recurring payment or the repeated payment. We have to subtract it with the previous timestamp. So in order to get the previous timestamp, what we can do, we can use the lag function. So let's start with this. We have the lag function. So we have this transaction timestamp. We have to find it over the given partition. So our partition is merchant ID, credit card ID and amount. So what? Merchant ID, credit card ID and amount. And your transaction should be in ascending order. So this is by default, and we will consider this as a previous timestamp. Let's run this. So here we can see that the first transaction it is like having the previous timestamp and null because there is no transaction before that. And for this transaction, this is the previous timestamp. So we have got here for this we have this timestamp as a previous one. This is the first transaction because we are considering the window of as like merchant ID, credit card and amount. So here the merchant ID is changed, so the window is changed. So for that this previous timestamp is null. For this one is the previous timestamp, and for this the amount is changed, so the window is also changed. So for this one as well, previous timestamp is null. So let's put this entire thing under CT with CTES and select star from CTE. This is the same result, you can see that. Now we have to take a difference of the time. Before that, you can see that this transaction is null, this is also null, this is also null. For this previous timestamp is null, and we have to omit the first transaction. So we will say that we don't need the previous timestamp. Previous timestamp is not null. So if I run this, so we just have these 3 transactions which can be considered as a repeated payment, but before that we need a difference. So let's first create that timestamp difference as time difference. Let's put this as a time difference. So we need the previous timestamp. Okay, we need the minutes, previous timestamp, comma, this transaction timestamp. So let's run this. So here you can see the time reference is 8 minutes, 20 minutes and 5 minutes. So in order to consider the payment as a repeated payment, this current timestamp should be less than equals to 10. Now if I just run this thing, you can see that we now just have two transactions, and what we need is we need the count of that count star as repeated payment. So this should achieve our desired result. Yeah, so here you can see this, we are getting 2 as a final output. If you enjoyed this explanation, hit like, subscribe and tell me which question I should simplify next. Thanks for watching.